of our station initiative. You would have heard over the last 24 hours the voices of young people who have joined us as the main anchors of the show, bringing in the fresh voices and fresh perspectives to the conversation that we're having. So this morning, it is the Talking Points turn, and my co-host this morning is Mpho. Mpho, good morning.
Good morning, Cathy. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. I love the excitement. Mpho's standing firm. She's ready to take us through the mid-morning. So, Mpho, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you, Cathy, and thank you for having me to the youth takeover. My name is Mpho Dingile, and I'm 29 years old. And I'm a producer to a community radio station and also a content creator. You know, social media is taking over now. So, yeah. So today, I'm going to be talking about the impact of unemployment and mental health, since we're going to be having a G20 here in South Africa on the 22nd and to the 23rd of November 2025. So my talking point will be, Uguti, how is this going to help youth to get employed, job creation, and so forth?
Wonderful, Mpho. We're looking forward to that conversation. So I'll be handing over the reins to Mpho from 10 o'clock. So you'll really not hear much from me. I know she's already prepped up, but certainly you can expect to hear a lot more from her from the second hour of the show. Okay, Mpho, one hour left for you to go prepare. Actually, 40 minutes left for you to go prepare for 10 o'clock.
I'm ready.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So that's Mpho there, our youth co-host for the Youth Takeover. And as you heard, she'll be talking about G20 mental health and addressing youth employment. The number of guests that have been lined up for that conversation, and she'll be running you through it. And then the final hour of the show is the Friday wind down. And I know, I feel like every other, artist that we have on, I say that they are my fave, but that's because I mean it. Okay, this one is really, honestly, I'm looking forward to it, because if you've listened to this show, you know that she's absolutely one of my faves.
Hi, my beautiful people. This is Brenda Mtambo. I'm so excited to be hanging out with you on the Friday Wind Down, this Friday, 20th of June at 11 a.m. on SAFM Talking Point. We'll be taking a walk through my journey in music, playing some of my favorite songs, and talking about the growth of South African music and what's coming next for me. It's going to be special, so special moment, and I'd love for you to be part of it. Tune in on 104 to 107 FM nationwide. Don't miss it for anything.
Gordon Ramsay is back, and your favorite kitchen disasters are still somehow in business. New season, same confused chefs, terrifying walk-ins, and enough grease to fry your Wi-Fi. Watch as Gordon tries to fix the unfixable with nothing but sheer rage, British sarcasm, and an iron stomach. Kitchen Nightmares Season 8, Wednesdays at 6 p.m. on S3. Come for the food, stay for the emotional damage.
The Northwest Provincial Legislature Portfolio Committee on Economic Development, Environment, Conservation and Tourism, chaired by Honorable Mpho Kunou, will be conducting public hearings on the Northwest Gambling Act Amendment Bill and the Northwest Consumer Affairs Bill on Friday, 20 June 2025 in Makobistad Community Hall, Ngakamudiri Molayama District, Khamogopa Community Hall, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda District, Rayville Community Hall, Dr. Ruth Somuti Mumpati District, and Manserre Community Hall in Pujanala District. All hearings start at 10.
The Talking Point with Cathy Mohlahlana. Weekdays, 9 a.m. till midday.
All right, let's get straight then into the open line. I'm taking your calls on 086 000 2032. It is your national roundtable on the WhatsApp voice note line 0614 104 107. Alvin, you're in Bushbuckridge. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Cathy. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Alvin, are you a first-time caller?
Yes, I am a first-time caller.
Welcome, welcome. I thought I didn't recognize this name. What do you want to talk about this morning?
You know, Cathy, I just came across you when you were just coming on air, talking about how political leaders each time there seems to be a shaking of the boat. They want to jump off and start something new. And I think it's very concerning because it's a sign that we're not maturing politically. You know, for one, this leader that spoke yesterday, Mr. Shwambu, is jumped on 3 ships already. It looks like he's going into the 4th. And it's possible that wherever he's going to breed other bitter leaders who are going to jump off the ship again. So it looks like we're going to have a lot of small parties with leaders that are all bitter, have ideologies of how to make our country better, but they cannot put their heads together, which is very concerning.
Alvin, based on what you're saying, I mean, is it a Floyd Shivambu problem or is it a state of South African politics problem? I feel it's a state of South African politics because, I mean, all these parties, if you listen to them, for one, I know a lot of them are going for power which they don't want to say directly. But when you break down the ideologies, imagine a world where they're all set together and put all these minds together for the interest of South Africa. I'm telling you, our country will be a better place. And if they honestly from their heart spoke, and they spoke the truth, and they spoke with a desire to serve the people to make our country better, I'm telling you, our country will become more beautiful, more glamorous. I mean, our country will just go from 0 to 50 in no time. But what seems to be, because everyone is looking for power, we know that. But can't we all sit together and put these ideologies together for the sake of our country? And Alvin, when you analyze why some political politicians, certainly not all of them, right? They're those who have been very clear. I mean, I don't remember a time when, let's say, the likes of Julius Malema talked about going around the country to get a sense of support. You know, he sort of seemed to have been very clear about what he wanted to do. And Gayton McKenzie the same, right? He didn't go through a process. Why do you think others choose the route of going through the process? What's behind that?
Well, you know, I think it's somehow I feel it's a getting a sense of validity. Because if you feel validated, I think that everyone will welcome, and that is all fair and fair. But then again, when it comes down to putting their hands on the plow and really serving the people, my main concern is that we can validate you and we can say, oh, we're happy because you're setting a new party, we're happy you're going to be working with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But then again, it comes down to whether is your heart on the people, or is your heart going to turn as soon as you get validated and now you look like you are glamorous, you are getting all this glory? That's the main concern for me.
Okay.
I mean, there's roads that are like potholes everywhere. There's lack of development, and we've got a mayor again who's on the run, who doesn't want to come on a small watch and account for all this madness and wrong things that are happening in our areas. So it's a very concerning, no matter what we hear and no matter where we hear it from. Until we see a day when leaders can come together and put aside all their hatred and bitterness and forgive one another and shake each other's hands with a pure heart and say, now we want to work for South Africa, politics will remain a dirty old circle.
All right, Alvin, out in Bushbuckridge, thanks for that call. And it's as if you know. How did you know that your officials have been running away from Municipal Watch? Anyway, story for another day. Katlego, you're in Dinokana. Good morning.
Hello,
Katlego, go for it.
Yes, I would love to talk about the happenings of Festival Boss conference yesterday. I think the man is going through a political turmoil. He's becoming a political chameleon. I mean, he was all over the place for me. He didn't have a standpoint, you know. telling us that no, EFF is a cult, while not less than a year ago he was praising Julius Malema, equaling him to the great people like Cabral, Trondheim and all. I mean, to again to say yesterday that EFF is a cult and all that. He was for me not like he doesn't know where he wants to go. I mean, being joining another party 6 months ago, yet he's out. He's becoming a political chameleon, which doesn't augur well for him.
Do you think that he's somewhat, given the current landscape of our politics, that he's somewhat of a political misfit right now?
Sorry?
Do you think he's somewhat of a political misfit?
Yes.
That he can't really find a place to belong?
Yes. I mean, when he was joining MK, he was telling us that the left forces must unite, to take over from the capitalists. I mean, from now he's giving us another angle that it seems like he's going to form a political party, though he doesn't want to be honest to us and telling us that now he's going to consult the people and all that. So he's just.
And Katlego, why do you think politicians do that? Why do they take that approach, you think?
No, it's a emotional blackmail to the masses. To think that we are in charge while it's them who are in charge. That's how it's just that emotional feeling that they used to play us as the gullible masses. It's just gunning for support from those who are just opportunists like him.
So it's a bit of manipulation in your view, because if I've come to you and you've given me my blessing, you've said, no, if you want to start a party, then go for it. Then the next time you need support or whatever, you can rightfully come to me because I endorsed you effectively.
you see, that's how they do. But really, I was for him to do that really yesterday. I found him very wanting. Now he really doesn't know. I think he's going through a lot. I think the guy is going through a lot. I mean, he was even saying that he's not in the political space of naming and shaming, but yet he was telling. He even mentioned that President Zuma is surrounded by scoundrels and all. I mean, he's talking about advocate Mpofu. I mean, that's really that was low of him.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
He even accused some people that the family of Zuma is taking about 7 million a month from the MK party. It's an unfounded statement and a dangerous statement to make.
Yeah, look, it was clear that even though he talked about not naming and shaming, he did use phrases and words that he knows are associated with certain political parties, or even the criticism level towards certain political parties. So even though he didn't mention the EFF by name, it was quite deliberate when talking about, we want a party that is not a cult. Of course, everybody's going to think about the EFF because that's always one of the allegations that the party's having to fight off. All right, we're edging towards 9:30. Let me squeeze in a couple of one or two voice notes. Let's see how long they are before we get to the latest headlines.
Good morning, Mom Katie. Good morning, Mom Katie. This is Mpo from Soweto. Yeah, that's true. But the only person that came out gun blazing and sure about it was Julius Malema. Let's be honest. He just came out and said, I'm starting EFF, using that same person, Flo Shibambo, supporting him. Now, yesterday, he's just shooting guns and saying anything about Julius. I agree, Floyd.
Good morning, I'm Anne Musa. In the headlines, chairperson of the Walter Sisulu University Council, Advocate Tembeka Ngqokatobi, has expressed shock and dismay following a fatal shooting of a senior official at the Walter Sisulu University in the Eastern Cape. The South African Reserve Bank Governor Lesija Kganyago will be sworn in today as the 16th Chancellor of Stellenbosch University. And the Dodgers baseball team says it has blocked U.S. federal immigration agents from entering its stadium in LA. The incident comes against the backdrop of heightened tensions in the city after protests against President Donald Trump's immigration crackdown across the country. I'll have details on these and other stories at 10.
Get your payments done with the utmost security and convenience when you purchase a TV license now. With our new secure payment systems with a one-time PIN OTP feature and the choice of receiving your OTP via SMS or email, you can ensure prompt and secure payments. The additional use of capture will protect you against spam and automated data attractions. With TV licenses, you can enjoy watching all your favorite shows or movies that matter to you. Get yours today. Visit www.tvlic.co.za.
If you think you cannot afford a lawyer, think again. Clientele Legal has made professional legal services affordable for you. Whether it's a civil, criminal, or labor-related matter, we have a nationwide panel of attorneys standing by to assist you. SMS SAFM to 32195. That's SAFM to 32195 and we'll call you back. Clientele General is a licensed non-life insurer and an authorized FSP. Standard rates and terms and conditions apply.
This Youth Month, SAFM celebrates the spirit, power and potential of young South Africans. Join us as we dive into conversations that matter, from innovation to education and skills for the changing world. Empowering youth for meaningful economic participation. Because at SAFM, we're not just talking, we're leading the conversations that move us.
The Talking Point with Cathy Mohlahlana. Weekdays, 9 a.m. till midday.
You're listening to The Talking Point. It is the National Roundtable. I'm still taking your calls on 086 000 2032 and on the WhatsApp voice note line 0614 104 107. Let me stay then in Bushbuck Ridge. Kaiser, good morning.
Good morning, sister. How are you?
I'm good, Kaiser. Why do you sound so down?
No, I'm down because our leader is also down, I think, Floyd Shivambu. So maybe I'm empathizing with him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But what I wanted to comment on today, Cathy, is the criticism around him leaving MKP and the EFF. And for me, personally, when I listened to him yesterday and I follow his political, decisioning, sometimes we don't appreciate what people have as talent and also as experience. And I think Floyd is one of those seasoned politicians that he deserves to be given his credit. Yesterday he said something very interesting. He said, I don't engage in any other thing that promote factionalism, And sometimes when people say things, we think like they're just making up stuff, but you might not even remember. I think I met him once at the University of Free State. He was giving a political lecture there. And I said something that I think I won't say now on air, but it was me commenting about the vulnerability of Bushbuck Ridge in terms of politics. And his answer was very simple to me. He said, I don't engage with anyone about municipalities because I'm a national. Go engage your constituency down there in Bushbuck Ridge, and then they will engage us. And that for me was hurtful, but also it showed that, he believes in somebody engaging with right structures before. And that is what I think the lady who was complaining in Mpumalanga was complaining about, and he clarified that. So for me, him going to consult, actually not consulting, opening his own political party, is the right thing. I think he's a right leader, and I think he will have a lot of support more than people imagine. Actually, people are waiting to support him on the ground, and I think he should be bold to go and face his own devils, if ever there will be devils, or his own blessings, if ever there will be blessings.
All right, Kaiser, thanks for that contribution. Somebody else saying that, Cathy, the new party has started. It started the day after Floyd's demotion here in Limpopo. It's led by Khankim Pahlele, the one who got expelled from the EFF Student Command. Look, I don't know if that's true, and this listener also didn't sign off. Somebody else says, Cathy, how do you change the constitution of the country? Do parliamentarians just decide on their own from people complaining over SFM radio? That's a message from Tabs. Tabs, no, there's actually a process underway. I'm not sure if we've reached the deadline date yet. I think the final date for submissions was towards the end of May, but there has been the annual review of the Constitution that is taking place, and there was a call made by Parliament for people then to bring in their submissions around aspects of the Constitution that they believe should be reviewed. And the option was that you could send through these submissions, and if you want to, you can even apply to make oral submissions. But that process, I think, may have already come to an end. I stand under correction. So it's not just about the complaining that takes place on platforms like ours. Let me go to Klerksdorp. John, good morning.
Hello, Cathy. Lekai?
Rona.
Cathy, I 100% agree with you, Cathy. Actually, the politicians are always using us. And now the problem is Cathy, is that down here on the ground, we agree to be used by these politicians. And then after they get rich, they just dump us like that down there. And we are busy fighting each other. You know, because this thing of Floyd and MK and all this, the people already down here, they are hating each other now. The other people, they just support the other. They don't look at the facts. They are supporting the others. They are doing this. The politicians, they're only using us and dump us down there. And they just don't care. All they say when they are on top there, they are talking about the poor people. We didn't call it the poor people, but they are using us. You see, now look now at Northwest when I was kid. This thing of 30%, where is that thing come from? There is no studies in Northwest, because if something needs to be happen, then some people will come out and want 30% before job is being done. Where is this thing come from? If you remember, Katie, in Eastern Cape, the king, Dalunga, he talked about this thing from about this the premier of Eastern Cape. He's the one who was involved. So I suspect Northwest also. The people on top, they are involved on this thing of 30%. That's why it's not studied in Northwest. Okay. I wish one day you can come with SAFN and go around Northwest. Northwest is so clear.
Yeah, look, you know, John, the unfortunate thing is that I believe that the root of the policy, at least around 30%, the thinking behind it was good, because part of what it meant was that government contracts 30% of government contracts would effectively be ring-fenced for small and medium enterprises. And those... Okay. And it was supposed to benefit those SMEs in particular areas where government projects were being delivered. Now, the idea of that 30% has been hijacked by, unfortunately, unscrupulous characters in some instances. And it's now become what I don't think it was intended to be.
Oh.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's been going on for a long time. This was a policy decision that was made probably over 10 years ago, John. It's just that how it evolved and being able to manage that was not given clear attention, which is why it has now become something completely different to what it was intended to be. And people have actually forgotten, where this 30% issue comes from.
Oh, okay, thank you, Matata, because this, like I said, this politician, they hijack everything where they can see they can benefit. Even here at the truck industry, they have hijacked everything is so, okay.
All right, John, thanks for that contribution.
Thank you.
Let me move on to Pastor Wanda. Good morning.
Good morning, Cathy. How are you?
I'm well, thank you, Pastor Wanda. And again, it seems pastors are always top of the list when it comes to the consultation processes, The blessing of the pastors are needed. Are you also going to be one of those consulted, Pastor Wanda?
Cathy, what you are asking, I can say I've been into politics for some time. I was one of the co-founders of the EFF in 2013. If you remember well, there was a coordinator of Cathy Mohlahlana who was said to be expelled, and I started the new EFF, if you remember well. So it depends on who takes who serious in this life of state.
And so when you were there helping to start the EFF, did you leave? What happened?
I left the very same Floyd Shivambu. He was being interviewed about my suspension, so-called suspension then, and there was no letter to this day to suspend me. And then Julius Malema on a phone call, he spoke to me to say he's gonna deal with me, and that's how I got out of the EFF and I started the new Economic Freedom Front, which I was dealt with by media that I mustn't be known outside. And what I spoke then to Floyd, to Mbiseni, and to Mpora Makata, I said, 10 years from now, you guys, you will leave the EFF. That was in 2030. So all of them, they enjoyed the perks that I contributed financially into the foundation of the EFF. I can tell you I've used more than 500,000 rand in the establishment of the EFF house gate.
So what made you fall out of favor, Pastor Wanda? That's a significant amount of money.
It's the cabals, the cabals, because what happened in the Free State, we had the chairperson who was running for the premiership, who's Mandi Sane. So what happened over Malema, they called Khotso Morapela from the ANC. Just immediately after the list, my name was there to go to the National Parliament. So just immediately after the list came out, they called Khotso Morapela from Bloemfontein to make him the chairperson of the province. Immediately they put him in the legislature. So I was fighting against that to say, how can you take someone who doesn't even have 10 rand, who didn't even pay 10 rand for membership there? You put him through the window, he just flies to the legislature. So that was what I was fighting against, because I told them that I'm not a regime change. There's this notion that they use in the EFF. All of them, they come from the ANC, and they are calling themselves the regime change. So I was not part of that. I came to join the EFF. I was from the Kwankwaita. So that was what I was basically fighting for.
Sure. What a story, Pastor Wanda. So what do you make of all of this and Floyd leaving and just this idea of again, politicians wanting to consult the South African public, in inverted commas, before, showing their true colors or owning their true colors?
Yeah. Listen, I have nothing against what Floyd has said. This is good. This is good. It shows that everyone in the country has got a right to decision and a right to choice. So what Floyd does or have done, it has happened, like you have said in your preamble when you start the program, that it's not the first time you hear these things. I mean, it's a lesson to us as South Africans that we need to mature and take responsibility of the changes that we want in the country. So what Floyd has done, it will still be done tomorrow. It won't stop. It will happen now and then. And what I like about our country is that everyone is being given the right to start a new organization or to belong to any, depending on how you perceive things to be.
Sure. And the status of your own party, Pastor Wanda, you said it's the economic freedom?
The New Economic Freedom Front. I had a case with the IEC because they didn't want to register that. I even went to the High Court in Pretoria, and the advocates of the IEC, they just called me aside to say I must take that case from the court. We will talk aside. So I didn't have a representative, you understand. I was representing myself. So they said to me, let's talk aside before we go into the court. Then they said, please remove it from the roll so that we will talk and see what happens. After I did that, they never called me again. That's when I last saw them in the High Court in Pretoria. So I couldn't go far because I refused a lot of monies from the former Premier of Free State. He wanted to give me some money so that I can deal with Malema. I said, no, I'm not in the propaganda of dealing with such people. So that's how I went. But what I want to say, Sister Cathy, today, we have gathered people together around the country, because what I said, I looked at the leadership and style. So after he resigned from the EFF, he didn't want to go anywhere else, but he decided to go and work somewhere. So what I said to the people, I said, guys, we can call this guy to come and lead us. So right now we have opened a group of people. We are together. We are on WhatsApp. We are 3 months old now. We want to approach Ndlozi to come and lead us. We are forming an organization, a civic organization.
Okay.
This is the current situation now.
Okay.
So,
well, keep us posted on how that goes, Pastor Wanda. Keep us posted on how all of that unfolds. He's out in Qwaqwa. Let me go to Nhlanhla Buthelezi. Mr. Buthelezi, good morning.
Good morning, Cathy. How are you?
I'm good. A few weeks back, you were on this platform talking about how you stand firmly behind your man, Floyd Shivambu.
He's not my man. It's that I like his intellect.
Not your man in that sense, Nhlanhla.
Yes. Yeah. Now I understand.
Yes. So tell us, what do you make of everything that has happened since then? And this was when he was demoted, by the way, from the position of SG.
Yes. I thought maybe the MK party, believe even today, that they acted wrongfully. It was confirmed yesterday when he explained. And then I realized that the people who demoted Floyd is not the MK party. It is the Muslim Justice Council who instructed the MK party to demote him. From what I heard yesterday, I sympathize with Floyd. And I also sympathize with the MK party. And on the other hand, I like the way Floyd has approached everything. The children of the MK party. Then whichever party, if he does form a party, it will still have that relationship with the MK party. So nothing has lost. everything is okay.
Nhlanhla, why didn't you call him and say, look, come and join my party. Let's push this thing together.
Now, the PRM is operating very, very different way from any other. You know, we're not working, you know, in a traditional way of politics as PRM, because we founded on the love of God basis. The organization that would understand us better is the Labour Party, because we do have interactions with the Labour Party. Other parties, yes, we may work with them, but they don't understand us. And sometimes we are skeptical of other things or their decisions sometimes that they take. But we are comfortable with the Labour Party because they understand and we know their constitution and we are happy with their constitution.
Okay. When was the last time you spoke to Floyd?
Hello?
Yes, Mr. Buthelezi. When was the last time you spoke to Floyd?
No, I've never spoken to Floyd. He doesn't speak to me. I tried to call him. Floyd ignores calls. That is his weakness. He ignores calls. He doesn't even return. Whether you send him my WhatsApp, he doesn't return your WhatsApp message. He's unlike Julius. Julius is very accessible. You phone Julius, he sees your missed call, he comes back to you. Whether you agree with him or you don't agree with him. So I don't understand this thing of Julius being a dictator and all of this. For us, we are honest because we believe in God. So we have to talk the truth. Floyd is reserved. I don't know. I don't know how he's going to build his party. But we are happy that he's trying something of the left. The only thing that we don't understand when he's going to consult with Ivan Khoza, what happens if they say, no, form a football club, forget about politics? Is he going to agree to form a football club? Motsepe of Sundowns, Patrice Motsepe. If they say, no, come and join Sundowns, forget about this thing. Is he going to agree? Is he going to come back and tell the nation that, no. When I consulted, they said, no, I must buy one of the teams which are being relegated and then be part of the football nation. I'm not sure.
All right.
But we'll see how it goes.
Okay, Nhlanhla Buthelezi, we'll leave it there. He's the president of the PRM. I'm surprised he's never even had a conversation with Floyd. I mean, the last time he was on air, one would have thought that they're people that keep in touch quite regularly. Mpho, you're in Soshanguve. Good morning.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, no, I want to talk about, because the youth month, I want to talk about the youth. You know, the youth here in Amo Pichura, especially the one in Soshanguve, Amo and Amo Soshanguve that I know of, they are too much into drugs, my sister. Like, you go to the shops, you find a 12-year-old at Wapati. They are all, you see them having scissors at the tuck shop because they're smoking. And when you try to take them off the streets, the parents, they're not even supporting them. Because, we were celebrating Youth Day, and then we have a team. It's a Tigers FC. They've got a WhatsApp group. We've got their own TikTok. It's a football team for boys and girls from under 11 up to under 17. You know, I was scared. We're struggling off the street and play away games and home games. I'm running this team from my disability grant. I use my grant to run this team from my own pocket. If kids are playing away or playing home, but these kids, most of the game, they can't go away. They can't play away games because sometimes I don't have money to pay for transport for them. Like this weekend, about Galago Extension 5, and we're in Block XX. We don't have money to pay for transport. And when we ask the parents or the community leaders, our councillors, they tell you, no, councillor, in a budget, sports, or the community leaders will say, no, and when you say parents, 10 rand, help me, they don't. So the reason I know community SFM is very big, and inally people who understand, who want to help to take these kids off the street. So I want to ask the taxi drivers, if somebody is listening, taxi or the business owners around Picho, who can help us at this team. Got transport of the jerseys, I bought them with my disability grant, cones and everything. Mostly what I need is the transport, because even this week, because I don't have money for them. But if there's someone out there wanting taxi, van, who can come and pick these kids up, or who can pay for their transport, it's 4 divisions. Because most of the league games are over because we don't have transport. So I've called in to say, SAFM listeners, number on air, then WhatsApp, get taggers WhatsApp, they can call us, and then we can take the kids off the street and really drive car sports.
Okay, all right, Mpho. Thanks for calling in with that issue. And the difficulty is that if communities who really serve as the leaders, who serve as the guardians of it's, every community becomes guardians of the children that are within that community. If they don't want to support, why? Why wouldn't you want to take out 10 rand so that your child or even your neighbor's child can be able to grow their talent in a particular way or other? It just, Mpho, it's the fact that, you're having to go as far as you are in trying to get support for the team. It shouldn't be that way. We have to find ways of fostering a greater sense of community amongst ourselves. Because some problems are not for only government to solve. They're not only for people out there to come in and intervene and help to make life better. We have to have that sense of community amongst ourselves. JCK, you're in Mosina. Good morning.
Hello, Jessica. Hello. That's when we're in politics. Jessica, let me begin with this one here. There are some people who are greedy. There are some people who are blessed. Instead of plowing to the community, they are so greedy. What do you lose? If you transport, they go and play football instead of smoking yaupe. Give a greedy fella. Let me get to my issue, Siska. What Floyd has done to the MK, he has done nothing wrong. It's same with us. We are in the ANC today, but we know ANC had but we are still stuck there. So there's no difference with Floyd going to MK and come back. But what I would like to advise Floyd, Floyd, we have got so plenty of political parties. We don't need another political party. What you can do, Floyd, is just a way or gauge some of the political parties, like what BCM, BCM, Black Conscious Movement. You share the ideology, live on now. I think BCM has got the best ideology. You can join them, Floyd. Let me rest my case for now. Or do you have something to say, Cathy?
No, I've got nothing else to say, JCK. You've said a mouthful already.
Lekker and be safe and look around the people who are around you. Look after them. Sure.
Thank you, JCK. Have a good weekend as well. Janusz?
Hi, Cathy. Good morning. Cathy, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Thanks, Cathy. I would like to talk about unemployment, poverty in our country. We know about it for a long time, how to solve the problem. Now we've got this 31, I think, the gentlemen, ladies, and who they established the commission, and they're going to talk about it for how long, I don't know. But there are practical solution to this. And I'm one of them who would like to change. I've got a job, you've got a job, so maybe we shouldn't be so much desperate about it. But I'm talking about the other people who haven't got a job, and you know about unemployment, crime is related to and poverty. And so I would like to ask you, Cathy, can we have such a forum of our listeners, like myself even, to introduce some ideas how we can change it? I'm trying to contact now one of the ministers, and she told me that after the message that we can talk about it when she's going to be in Cape Town. Really? I mean, come on. There's no urgency in the government and anybody else. Do you think it's a good idea to have a sort of discussion among us? How can we change it? Can you give me the chance to explain the practical improvement of the education and employment?
Okay.
What do you think?
Janusz, I think that's a good idea. We'll have to find a way of how we make it work on air, because you can imagine you're not the only South African with ideas on how we can begin to bring forth meaningful change in the country, and also looking at changing the state of the economy, at least pushing for higher economic growth. You've put it out there, and let's have a conversation with the producers and see how we could take such an idea or an initiative forward. Well, that brings us to the end of the open line. It's 10 o'clock.
In our top stories, Ngokaidobi reacts to fatal shooting of a senior Walter Sisulu University official and court to hear dental results of accused in Mehiwa murder trial. Good morning. Chairperson of the Walter Sisulu University Council, Advocate Tembeka Ngokaidobi, has expressed shock and dismay following a fatal shooting of a senior official at the Walter Sisulu University in the Eastern Cape. The official was shot dead inside a stationary vehicle outside the institution's Nelson Mandela Drive campus in Umtata last night. Police are investigating a case of murder. The motive for the killing is unknown at this stage. Okaitobi elaborates.
The council is deeply shocked and disturbed at what appears to be a brazen act of assassination. We send deep condolences to his family and extended family. We have escalated the incident to the law enforcement authorities. We are hopeful that we'll act swiftly to apprehend the perpetrators and bring them to justice without delays.
The South African Reserve Bank Governor Lesija Kganyago will be sworn in today as the 16th Chancellor of Stellenbosch University. University spokesperson Martin Viljoen says Kganyago was unanimously selected as the Chancellor in January this year. He says Kganyago received an honorary doctorate from the university in 2018 and is viewed as one of the finest public policy minds in the country. A petition has been launched calling for major food retailers to drop food prices and for government to intervene to regulate food prices to ease food insecurity. The project, driven by the human rights group United Against Hunger, aims to collect 100,000 signatures through a door-to-door campaign as concerns grow over food affordability in the country. Mark Hayward is the co-founder of United Against Hunger.
The figures tell us that about 20 million South Africans are food insecure. They experience hunger either every day or perhaps towards the end of the month. And the consequences of that food insecurity are very serious, particularly for children. Statistics tell us that 1 in every 3 children, by the time they are 5, are stunted, meaning that they haven't had enough nutrition in those critical early years of their lives. No, we don't have a food problem because we produce enough food to feed everybody in this country, but we do have a big hunger problem.
The High Court in Pretoria is expected to hear the results of a dental examination conducted on Mtobisi Ncube, accused number 3, when the Senzo Mehiwa murder trial resumes this morning. Ncube and 4 others are on trial for the 2014 murder of the Bafana Bafana captain. The report was due to be presented in court yesterday, but the state witness meant to testify on the matter, Sergeant Moses Mabasa, was unavailable. Paul Magubane reports.
Ncube underwent a dental examination in an effort to counter the state's claim that he had a gold tooth in 2014, the year footballer Senzo Mehiwa was killed. Some eyewitnesses had testified that one of the intruders who entered the Khumalo home had a gold tooth. In support of this claim, the state called Sergeant Mabasa, who testified about selfies recovered from Ncube's memory card, allegedly showing him with dreadlocks and a gold tooth. The dental report will only be read into the court record once Sergeant Mabasa resumes his testimony.
And finally, the Dodgers baseball team says it has blocked U.S. federal immigration agents from entering its stadium in LA. The incident comes against the backdrop of heightened tensions in the city after protests against President Donald Trump's immigration crackdown across the country. The BBC's John Donnison has the details.
In a statement, the Dodgers said U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement ICE agents arrived at the stadium and requested permission to access the parking lots. A huge part of the team's fan base is drawn from the Latino community. It comes 10 days after President Trump sent 2,000 National Guard soldiers to L.A. in response to protests against immigration control. California's Democrat Governor Gavin Newsom, who objected to the deployment, accused Mr. Trump of being inflammatory and trying to create a spectacle.
Recapping the top story, chairperson of the Walter Sisulu University Council, Advocate Tembeka Ngcukaitobi, has expressed shock and dismay following a fatal shooting of a senior official at the Walter Sisulu University in the Eastern Cape. The official was shot dead inside a stationary vehicle outside the institution's Nelson Mandela Drive campus in Mthatha last night. For SAFM News, I am Anne Musa.
Winter in Nelson Mandela Bay is for getting out and not staying in. Get outdoors on a green flag hiking trail or go for a game drive at one of 15 private reserves right at our doorstep. Hit the beach or get on board with a whale watching cruise. Explore the historical heart of our city or come vibe with the locals on a township tour. There's so much to discover. Find Nelson Mandela Bay, South Africa on Facebook or visit nmbt.co.za. Nelson Mandela Bay, your winter and our summer destination.
Orbit College is highly spirited and believe they are intelligent enough to secure 3 vital points. But the citizens are confident they will prevail with their top-flight football experience. This is the PSL Promotional Playoffs. Catch the hot contest between Orbit College and Cape Town City on Wednesday, 25 June at 2:30 p.m. Streaming on SABC Plus and SABC2. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
It's that time of year. The annual Drakensberg Boys Choir Music in the City is upon us. Classic choral works, African rhythms, and foot-stumping Afropop at the Joburg Theatre. 18 to 21 June. Book now on bbchoir.com. See you there.
The Talking Point with Cathy Mohlahlana. Weekdays, 9 a.m. till midday.
You're listening to the Talking Point 8 after 10 o'clock. Welcome to the second hour of the show as we lead conversations that move us. Well, we've been talking about our Youth Takeover initiative, and over the last 24 hours, you've been hearing the voices of different young people. Today, my co-host is Mpho. She said hello in the first hour. This is, of course, going to be her hour. Mpho, are you all prepped up? Are you ready for me to hand over the reins?
Yes, I am ready, Cathy.
Wonderful. All right, so we'll take a couple of your WhatsApp voice notes from the open line, and then Mpho is going to introduce her topic, introduce her guests, and drive the conversation right through until 11 o'clock.
Morning. My take on the issue of Flesh Bambo. Flesh Bambo is not a child. It's long that he has been in the game. He knows what he's doing. Exactly because in the MK party, he went all out to form structures of the MK party. Now, when he says he's going out to consult, he's going to consult the very structures that he has created. That will tell you how astute. That guy is a politician. And I wish him good luck. The MK party made a big mistake of expelling him. Actually, Zuma has become senile. You cannot just expel somebody of that caliber. I didn't Bushback.
Good morning, Cathy and the SAFM listeners. This is Brother John here from Menenberg in the Western Cape. Cathy, it must be very cold outside the GNU for all those political parties outside the GNU, especially the MK and the EFF. It's very cold for them, especially now that Floyd have formed his own political party. He's going to form his own political party. And I know they wish that the GNU can collapse, but it's not going to collapse. With all its ups and downs, the GNU is going to hold. And the thing is this, the cherry on top for me is when Floyd said that the EFF is not a political party, it's a cult. Floyd, thank you very much for the thing you did to us. Thank you, Floyd. Thank you.
Hi, this is Cathy. This is Cathy Mohlahlana from Pedersen. On the issue of Floyd Shivambu, I think first, if we want to judge the guy, we must first consult the Constitution. Chapter 2, Bill of Rights, Section 19, subsection 1A. Then after reading that section, that piece of the Constitution, then we can make our judgments. Thank you. Cathy Mohlahlana from Pedersen.
Cathy, just a follow up to that voice note. In Floyd's case specifically, I think what he's doing is a last-ditch attempt or plea to Jacob Zuma to not throw him overboard, not throw him off the ship. And the threat of starting a party is almost like a threat to Zuma to say, well, if you do throw me overboard, I am taking all my followers with me, and we'll start our own party, and that will dilute your party, and it will dilute the EFF. But I do think that the whole thing was a panicked plea to Zuma to not listen to everyone else in the MK and rather to listen to him.
This is Morton from Oakfield in the Western Cape. I think that Floyd's political party isn't going to do any difference. The only place where it's going to make a difference is in his bank account, because all these political parties, the only thing they do for this country is keeping it a democratic country, but service for the people, there is nothing. It doesn't do anything where it comes to service for the people, and it's the people's votes that making the parties what it is, but they do nothing there. So there's never going to be a change. Doesn't matter if he's going to make it go from one party to another, or other parties, never going to be changed from him for the people in this country where it's service, because many people are still hungry, they don't have water, they don't have electricity, they don't have jobs. So the only thing this party is doing so far is keeping it a democratic country, but now, when it comes to service, it means nothing.
Myself here. Now again we're back to the square one, where we think as South Africans that if someone is articulate in English, then that person is clever. I don't think it's the case with Floyd. If Floyd was clever and calculating, he shouldn't have joined the MK, because during the pay back the money, they harassed Zuma, and I don't think that he thought that Zuma and his family forgot about that. Then he went straight into they wanted to destroy him. They were planning, it's a plan, they wanted to destroy him. You should have realized that. Thank you, Cathy.
#SFM Talking Point.
Hi, I'm Khomotso KG Mwekezi, and I believe in music's ability to connect, to heal, to remind, and to bring joy. And each week on my Saturday and Sunday show Seasons right here on SAFM, I endeavor to do just that. So join the movement of Seasons every Saturday and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's addictive. You might invite a friend. Seasons, only on SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide, with me, KG Mwekezi.
#SAFM Talking Point.
You're still listening to SAFM, The Talking Point, with myself, Mpho Dingile, as I'm doing a takeover, a youth takeover. And today I'm going to be talking about the mental health and addressing unemployment in a youth. As a youth, for example, I'm from the township, so we know that unemployment is a big thing. It's a big issue, not only in the community or the township, but also globally, also as well as in South Africa. So as we know that South Africa is preparing to host the G20 summit on the 22 to the 23rd of November 2025. The focus is on fair global finances, job creation, climate change, technology. But what does it mean for us as young South Africans? What we want to talk about in unemployment and mental issues on how it affects us. Because if you are not employed and you at home, they don't even have money. So how are you going to survive? And how is that going to do to your mental health? That's why we see most of the young people, they take drugs. And that's why we see a lot of violence in the township. Also here in South Africa, we've seen it on social media. People are murdering each other. I feel like people are just bored. So some of them are just bored because they don't have anything to do. Some of them, they're just hopeless. They don't know what to do, because now you go to workplaces asking for jobs. They say there's no jobs. If you are the person who, let's say you went to school, you did all the things that's supposed to be done, you go to school, you graduate, and now you don't have a job. You go to workplaces asking for jobs, they say they want experience. So is the education still a key to success? So we want to know on the G20 if they're going to help us as youth to be employed. What are they going to be doing to help us? So I'm going to be having some guests on this conversation. Tiamo Malaji. He's a community facilitator at Youth Capital. I'm also going to have Vanessa Godan Narotan. She's a registered counselor at the South African Depression and Anxiety Group, as well as Raymond Mohlahlana. He's a chairperson of Youth 20.
Okay. So thank you for that, Mpho.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the way that you've set the topic up. Because as a young person, these are issues that you're seeing every day.
Yes.
And you're having to contend with every day. And that's the approach that you'll be taking with our guests. Just then to double check that they're all on the line. Raymond Makala, are you on the line? Good morning.
Good morning, Cathy. Good morning, Paul. Yes, I'm on the line. Good morning to the listeners.
Wonderful. Mpho standing by to speak to you. Vanessa Gordon Narotam, registered counsellor at the South African Depression and Anxiety Group. Vanessa, are you on the line?
I am here. Good morning.
Wonderful. Tiamo Malaji, community facilitator with Youth Capital. Tiamo, good morning.
Good morning to everyone in the studio, to the listeners at home. We're on the line and we are ready to engage.
Wonderful. All right, Mpho, I'm handing back over to you. All of the guests are on the line and ready to get into the conversation.
Thank you so much, Cathy. So, Raymond, I'll start with you as a chairman of Youth 20. So, we hear a lot of, we know that we have skills development, but what practical outcome are you hoping to push through to Youth 20 for unemployed youth in South Africa?
Thank you for the question. So we don't look at South Africa when we talk G20, because G20 is a group of 20, now including the African Union, which then makes it a group of 21, technically. So when we look at issues of unemployment, we don't just look at Africa, but of course we take it from the context of South Africa with a high rate of youth unemployment. So I'll give you an example. As part of our 5 thematic areas for our presidency and the work that we want to achieve, youth unemployment, or rather, in fact, it's not youth unemployment, it's rather unemployment. It's one of those fundamental issues that we want to achieve. What we want to propose is policies that member states will adopt that will facilitate both economic and employment opportunities for the people of those respective nations. But within our context, of course, the emphasis would be on youth, since the youth unemployment figure is the one that is depressing.
So, as we know, Guti, mental health is growing crisis linked to unemployment. So, what issues IE Youth 20 is discussing on when it comes to mental health?
No, thank you so much for that. So, when you look at thematic 5, which speaks about inclusive social development and fighting inequality, that's where we look at the issues of mental health there. Particularly if you look at our objective number 2 there, that speaks about advocating for a prioritized policy and financing frameworks to reduce health inequalities through implementation of universal health. But more so, we look at issues of health and mental health, which is to emphasize access to essential services, emphasizing on mental health and well-being of adolescents and young people in their diversity. So that is a fundamental objective that we have, and we are going to be discussing with our counterparts from the G20 member states.
Okay, are those things gonna be accessible to the young people in these townships? Because in most cases, those kind of things, young people from the township, they are not being discussed on how they're gonna be helped. Because, like I said, I'm from the township, and in most cases, we go to school, we graduate, and then now when you go to the work places, they want an experience. So how is it gonna be helping G20 when it comes to that?
Yeah, you must remember G20 is a policy grouping, so it's not an implementation grouping. Mm-hmm. The member states themselves are the ones that are supposed to be implementing.
Okay.
So within the framework of G20, in our case, the Youth 20, we look at what policies should we propose, and we call them policy recommendations in a form of a final communique to heads of state. What are those that we should propose that the heads of states and member states should then approve and find expression within the Leaders' Declaration, so that they are able to be implemented by member states through their national policies or frameworks, implementation frameworks for various member states. So what we do as young people is to ensure, as Youth 20, is to ensure that we gather the inputs and the views of young people on which policies do they think would be more effective in ensuring that those issues are addressed.
Okay, so I also want to ask a question to Vanessa. So Vanessa, you in your work, you work with mostly people who going through a lot, and some of those things that they're going through, it's unemployment. So what are some of the emotional and psychological struggle that young people share with you about trying to find jobs in South Africa today?
I think it's so important to start with the feeling of hopelessness that they experience. And I think, the whole feeling of very deep fatigue, there's almost no way for them to see that there's a light, right? And often what happens with them is that they struggle to take that next step. And a lot of it is linked to burnout, not being encouraged, not having the capacity to see opportunities. That becomes very difficult. So a lot of them are struggling with more emotional stress, more overwhelm, not knowing which direction to go to. And often that also affects the way they see themselves, right? The way they see themselves, the way they see their self-worth. So a lot of their feelings come from those. I'm looking at a lot of deep fatigue, symptoms of anxiety, symptoms of depression, also constantly being rejected. You mentioned, going to being educated and going to look for a job, and now you can't get it. That is deeply rejecting. So also managing that becomes very difficult. This all links to the coping skills we have, right? The coping mechanisms we have. How do we see ourselves? How do we manage certain stresses or feelings of overwhelm? So well-being or mental well-being is often looked at, how do we manage the difficulties that come towards us? How do we see it? How do we engage with it? Often it feels very lonely, very hopeless, very rejected and dejected. But we need to change the narrative. And I know saying it is so simple, right? Saying change the narrative is so simple. But it's taking that first step. Having that support of loved ones saying that you can do this. Let's try something different. Let's try and go into a different direction. Having that support, having that encouragement, having yourself change that narrative in slow, small steps will help you also see the light. And I know me saying it once again, me saying it is very easy, but doing it is very hard.
Yes.
But
So,
it takes effort. It takes time. It's the same way where we started in class 1, right? We started in class 1, we're learning our numbers. But we can't expect a class 1 child to be able to do the Pythagoras theorem that we're learning in matric.
yes.
So it starts small. Have to start small.
I also want to know, Vanessa, that what role can the family help and the community play for unemployment youth while they're still searching for the jobs? Like you said, it's hard. Some of the youth, they don't even have data to search for the jobs. Even if they found the jobs, they don't have money to go to the interview.
Absolutely, and that's something I actually made a note of. I was like, access to skills, access to transport, not having access to childcare. If they have children, like how do they get their children to be looked after and still go for that interview? So you've touched on a very valuable limitation that exists. And communities and family members can help in that way, right? It's about encouragement. It's about showing empathy. It's about saying, with compassion. Often, let's give an example, right? When someone asks, when you meet a person on the street that's your friend or you know them, you're like, how are you? And they often say, I'm fine. But we're not going into those deeper questions, as in, how are you feeling today? How has it been going? And often we shy away from asking those real questions because we don't know how to respond. We don't know how to respond. And that's where places like SADAG come into play. So if a person is feeling overwhelmed, they're feeling stressed, you don't know how to answer these questions, and you don't have to answer them. Say, you know what, there's a place where you can talk to someone. Maybe just have a conversation with one of the counselors. It might give you a different perspective, because sometimes that's what we need.
Okay.
We need to speak to someone who can give us that different perspective. Communities definitely can help with encouragement, with empathy, with showing a little bit of compassion. We know it's hard out there. We do.
So are those services for free for someone who can't afford to get counseling and to talk to someone?
Absolutely. So SADAG is free to call. They're open 24/7, so 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They're open. Their helplines are 0800 numbers, so it's toll-free. Anyone can call and speak to a counselor.
Okay, thank you so much, Vanessa. And also, I want to talk to Cathy Mohlahlana, a community facilitator at Youth Capital. So, Tayamo, I want to know, Guti, at Youth Capital, do you have like programs where you help youth or unemployed people? Because not only the youth that is unemployed, but the most of South African are unemployed. We're sitting on 46.1% on unemployment rate.
So Tiamo, sorry to come in there. Just before you get into your answer. It's edging towards 10:30. Sorry, it's edging towards 10:30. You're doing so well, Mpho.
Thank you.
And we had agreed that you didn't introduce the news headlines, right?
Yes.
So if you can please just take us to the latest news headlines, and then of course you'll continue with this conversation on the other side of that, right?
All right. So yeah, as Cathy said, it's time for headlines. It is 10:30 right now to go to the headlines.
Thank you, Mpho. On the news headlines on SAFM, I am Ondelambana, and a very good morning. Former Constitutional Court Justice Albie Sachs has described the Apex Court as a shining example of integrity, intelligence, and humanity. The chairperson of Walter Sisulu University Council, Advocate Tembeka Ngqaitobi, has expressed shock and dismay following a fatal shooting of a senior official at the Walter Sisulu University in the Eastern Cape. And police in Budapest have banned this year's LGBTQ+ community pride march, arguing it will be in breach of Hungarian law. A full update follows at the top of the hour.
Well, taking a look at your markets this morning, the rand currently trading at 17 rand 99 to the dollar, 24 rand 23 to the pound, and 20 rand 72 to the euro. Markets in Asia were mixed at the closing bell. The JSE mainly higher in mid-morning trade. Markets in Europe have extended gains. Gold is trading at $3,348, platinum $1,288 per ounce. The price of Brent crude oil is at $76.86 a barrel.
Welcome back to the sun-drenched shores of St. Marie, where the beaches are beautiful and the murders are mysterious. It's Death in Paradise Season 7. New cases, quirky suspects, and D.I. Jack Mooney, who's still figuring out the island and how to drink coconut water gracefully. Catch the show where paradise meets puzzling crime, because even in paradise, someone always has a secret. Death in Paradise Season 7, Wednesdays at 9 p.m. on S3. Starts 28 May. S3, open up.
If you think you cannot afford a lawyer, think again. Clientele Legal has made professional legal services affordable for you. Whether it's a civil, criminal, or labor-related matter, we have a nationwide panel of attorneys standing by to assist you. SMS SAFM to 32195. That's SAFM to 32195 and we'll call you back. Clientele General is a licensed non-life insurer and an authorized FSP. Standard rates and terms and conditions apply.
The reigning champions Banyana Banyana and 11 African national teams are ready to tackle each other for WAFCON 2024 to determine who are the real queens of the continent. Where Africa competes, South Africa connects. Experience the Women Africa Cup of Nations Morocco 2024 from 5 to 26 July 2025. Streaming live on SABC Plus, SABC 1 and SABC 2. Also available on SABC Sport on DTT Channel 4 and SABC radio stations. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport. For the love of the game.
This Youth Month, SAFM celebrates the spirit, power, and potential of young South Africans. Join us as we dive into conversations that matter, from innovation to education and skills for the changing world. Empowering youth for meaningful economic participation. Because at SAFM, we're not just talking, we're leading the conversations that move us.
Hashtag SAFM Talking Point.
You're still listening to SAFM, Talking Point with Cathy Mohlahlana and myself, of course, Mpho Dingile, as I'm taking over, doing a youth takeover. And the topic that we're talking about today is G20, mental health and addressing unemployment. Before the headlines, I was going to talk to Cathy Mohlahlana. She's a community facilitator at Youth Capital. As I ask Tiamo, are you still there?
Yes, I'm still there.
Oh, yes. So, Tiamo, I wanted to ask you, what kind of programs that you guys do at Youth Capital? As I mentioned, that our unemployment rate is on 46.1%. And not only for the youth, but also other people as well who are not the youth, part of youth.
Mpho, we do have a Youth Capital Action Plan, which has 10 steps to address youth unemployment.
Mm-hmm.
We've also released a shorter youth manifesto, and Youth Capital believes that it's possible to create 3 million jobs in South Africa through government-supported programs. Just one of the many things I'll touch on is about making it easier for people to find work, because that's been a topic of conversation on this call so far. And making it easier to find work not only increases access to those job opportunities, it can address the issue of mental health as well. Because if you are trying very, very hard to find a job, and that's very difficult to even find it, and you're putting in so much effort just to keep on not succeeding, it's going to affect you mentally, emotionally, and it also affects you financially. Look at the teaching assistant position that the government has under the Basic Education Employment Initiative. In the past, you had to submit your CV at the school. First, you have to find the school, you have to get transportation to the school, then you also have to dress up, get your best clothes, because you want to give a good appearance as well. So it's a lot of effort, and sometimes young people get to the school, but they wouldn't know where to go once they've arrived at the school. Who receives the applications? Where's the reception officer? It is a very difficult environment to work in, only to not even be offered the position after all. Or there are some employers who already know who they want to hire, but they still have to put out a public call. So you're going to take it seriously. You're going to go through all the steps. You're going to go to a printing shop and print out your CV. You know, if you look at all the steps, it's very long. So one thing Youth Capital has supported, which is an initiative called SAYouth.mobi, which is an online platform which is zero rated, so you don't need to have data, that allows young people to submit their application. And this time around, all the teaching assistants were hired only through SAYouth.mobi. So you cut out someone needing to get transport. You cut out the need to get an outfit and get ready. You cut out the need to go through school and find where's the reception, who do they need to submit the CV. You make the process a lot easier, because with SAYouth, once you submit your CV once, you don't have to keep resubmitting it. So applying for the job is easier. So number one, if you don't get it, it's not like you put in as much effort. But number two, you're more likely to find work because the opportunities are way more accessible to you, and you have more information about what opportunities there are. Thirdly, you can find opportunities that are more geared towards your actual interests. Some young people actually do get a job, for instance, in retail, but it's not meaningful for them, and they don't enjoy the job. It's not the career path they even want to find themselves on, so that also affects their mental health. So in short, I mean, there's a lot that we can discuss about what work Youth Capital does and what I do as a community facilitator, but I just wanted to focus on that one point. There are many, but there are things and there are solutions, and that's what's important, not only to the jobs crisis, but also to mental health. And on the final part of your question, yes, when you improve the conditions of young people, you improve the conditions of everyone. Young people are the largest demographic in South Africa. So if young people's conditions are not well met, you've got a huge population who sink into social issues, substance use, violence, crime, etc., and that affects other people, obviously. So if you are solving youth issues, there's going to be a knock-on effect where it will help others. If you have the elderly population, most of the time you're going to need to be looked after by the youth. But if young people don't have work, don't have jobs, don't have opportunities, how can they look after the elderly? So yes, helping the young, helping youth will help the wider population groups.
So you mentioned that there is presidential youth employment initiative, which it helped over 2 million young people to find work as teachers' assistant, right? But in this program, it's more like an internship for 12 months. What happened after that 12 months? Because remember, those 200 people who have like the program now, and then what will happen to the next 12 months? Is this kind of program only a short-term thing where you don't have to think about work for 12 months, but what will happen after 12 months? Because that as well affects the mental issue. Because now you're like, okay, at least I have something for 12 months, and then when the 12 months end, it's back to depression as well because you're unemployed.
Let me speak to the community I work in, because there are some areas where the initiative is better and there are some areas where the initiative is worse. But of course, across the board, it should be longer. Some are even 6 months. That's not good. But in the community that I operate in, the program has actually been good, because some of the people who do the program do find work afterwards. And even those that don't find work afterwards have gained work experience, which they can use to improve their CVs and maybe find work in the future. Some are even able to find jobs in the areas that they actually want to work in. So it's not just that they create the experience, they also are able to network within the career fields that they're interested in. So I would say that it is a program that has net benefit. With regards to mental health, I agree with you. Giving someone a job and then taking it away from them is not a good environment for them to be in. It's better than not having a job throughout the entire period. But I think what that means is the program needs to be improved so that it can be more sustainable and it can do more to help people find work afterwards. But by and large, it is a good program. It needs to be expanded and improved. And if there are mistakes and issues with the program, it's because the government tries to slim the program. It tries to not fully invest in it. And sometimes it doesn't adequately fund the program, which is not a problem of the program itself. It's more a problem of how it gets implemented. But a 6-month, 12-month, 24-month internship is not in itself a bad thing. Even outside government programs, corporations sometimes offer internships to people in various industries in order for that person to get more experience. And sometimes the corporation will give you a full-time job afterwards. Sometimes they won't. But the idea of an internship is not in itself a bad thing. What is a bad thing is if you're not prepared to assist that person in long-term work employment. But yes, in the community that I live within, many of the people who graduated from that program were able to find jobs and opportunities. And Youth Capital, like I said earlier, estimates that this kind of a program can create 3 million work opportunities for young people. So it should be more funded and more supported. And on a mental health perspective, you can then provide better mental health services for people who are doing the job. And if you can make it more sustainable, you can improve the mental health of young people. That's true.
All right. Thank you, Tiamo. I also want to talk to Raymond as well. So, Raymond, I also want to ask you, Uguti, if you could speak directly to the young people, especially the one that about Zamela, they have like hustles and small businesses. What will you say with this G20 that is coming?
Yeah, no, thank you so much. So I would say, look, through our social media, get involved. We are putting together, or rather we have put together working groups that then contribute to all of the 5 thematic areas which we're focusing on. We will also be doing provincial and regional consultations, and also for organizations, institutions that would like for us to come either to their community, either rural, urban. They should also invite us so that we can come and get input from themselves to put into the process. But lastly, I would also like to say, don't just follow Y20. You know, there is a Business 20, there is a Startup 20 that are also actively working towards SMMEs and youth development. For example, at the Business 20, the B20, we were able to entrench in all of the task forces the youth from various sectors based on the B20 task forces. Also follow through that work. That's one of the platforms where we will be mainstreaming youth issues there. Even on the Startup 20, we will be mainstreaming youth issues there. Women's 20 will be mainstreaming youth issues there. We're going to be speaking with, we've been speaking with all of the other engagement groups to ensure that youth issues are mainstreamed in all of those engagement groups. So do follow through to our social media, get involved. You can reach us through info@y20southafrica.org, and we will be able to engage with everyone who has an interest on contributing to this policy development and the policy recommendations that will be shared with the member states.
All right. Thank you so much, Raymond. I also want to talk to Vanessa. So, Vanessa, beyond job creation, what other kind of support do unemployed young people need to stay positive and motivated?
So it's so important. I loved what and I've lost his name in my mind now, and I was trying to remember it, is the candidate from Youth Capital, where he mentioned that, you know, like having that 12 months and that 6 months and then it's not sustainable can cause significant mental health issues. I just wanted to touch on that before we get to the answer of my question, is that that's true, right? But I think what's so important, and I think our perspective becomes so vital in that aspect, right? Because I was reading an article recently, and they were talking about triggers versus glimmers, right? And triggers is what triggers us. We're constantly saying, oh, I'm triggered by this because it's making me feel worse. So it's triggering my feelings of anxiety, it's triggering my feelings of overwhelm and stress. But we're not looking at, and our focus is not on glimmers. It's like we're walking down the street and someone gave us way to walk, or someone waited outside the lift for us to get in, or left the lift open for us to get in, right? And those are happy moments. Those are moments where you feel, oh, someone's kind. And I think what we need to do also within those 6 months and 12 months when they have those internships or those training programs within those projects is actually look at this, okay, I have this opportunity. What am I going to do with it so it becomes sustainable for me? So exactly what he said, networking, having conversations with people, seeing where there's gaps within systems, where how can I fill this gap, or how can I create something to fill a gap like that? Looking at the needs. So giving those youth also opportunities to think about where are there gaps, and do I have any creative ideas to fill these? Because, I mean, the young people of today are so informed. They know exactly what's going on in this new age of technology, and there are gaps that us as older people don't always see. So maybe having these almost like focus groups, where they mentioned focus groups, that's the word that's coming to mind, but having these groups where they discuss creative ways to create sustainability might be great. That's just my 2 cents there. I'm sorry, I was so motivated to say something. So beyond job creation, going back to your question, beyond job creation, and what other kinds of support do unemployed people need to stay positive and motivated? They need safe spaces. Safe spaces to speak about their experiences, their emotions without shame, right? And this can be peer support groups, skill development groups, mentorship groups, but creating a safe space where a young person can go there or, speak to someone without judgment, without them saying, oh, this is wrong and this is what you're doing that's wrong, but being able to say, I'm expressing my feelings of stress and overwhelm because X, Y, Z has happened, and I don't know how to manage these emotions. So having these safe spaces where there's someone that can speak to them and say, let's look at this emotion in a different way. Let's break it down. Where does it come from? How can we better manage it? So it comes with coping skills. One of those simple coping skills that we can all do in the moment is doing a breathing technique, right? In that moment, we're feeling overwhelmed. What do? Take a deep breath in, count to 4, and a deep breath out. Maybe you have on your phone your favorite song or your favorite song for that moment, right? And you go outside and you sit in the sun and you just de-stress and you refocus. And these are small coping skills that we can learn that don't cost money, that don't sort of break the bank, if that's a better concept to use. But it's things that you can do in the moment, using your senses, doing a mindful minute when you're feeling overwhelmed. So these are all things that you can do to check in with yourself.
All right. Thank you so much, Vanessa. I have a caller on the line. Hello, caller, how are you?
Okay, let me step in here just to help Mpho out, because I know she can't really see the call screen. So we'll begin with Tebogo Molapisane. Tebogo, I understand you're the co-founder and director at Amatuba Collective. Please say good morning to Mpho as well.
Good morning to the listeners and good morning to everyone online.
Hi, Tebogo.
Good morning.
Yes, Tebogo, I can hear you.
Just quickly in terms of who I am and where I come from. Obviously, there's no shortage of organizations that seek to solve the unemployment problem in the country.
Mm.
So our approach is a bit different as a Amateur Collective. We work in ecosystems, we work as a collective, and a lot of the callers online or the participants, we have engaged with them. So we've worked with SADC, we've worked with the Harambe, we've worked with many of the other organizations that work in this space. But the approach that we take is that we know that young people are looking for opportunities, but they are not always ready for those opportunities. Often organizations will talk about we are recruiting for attitude and we'll teach skill. And we are saying what operates call skill and what they call attitude are not always as easy from a young person's perspective.
Mm.
For instance, attitude is something you might actually have to take somebody on a journey first. I'll give you an example. So when you get a young person who's straight from high school looking for opportunity, when they arrive, they might actually not show up in a way that you want to employ this person. So what we do is we spend time with them, creating a foundation upon which we can lay the skills later on. So we work with the existing programs in terms of internships and learnerships and those sort of things. And then we add these foundational skills, which allows them to arrive, show up, smile, and be able to actually be taught skills technically.
Okay, so with you with the skills that you taught them, do you also help them like with the mental issues? Because you must remember, as much as you help them with getting ready for work readiness, they have like problems at home, which they also, maybe some of them, they're even breadwinners or people are looking for him, after them.
Yeah, definitely. So we call it holistic support, which deeply empowers the young person. So we say, we meet you where you are, and the core basis of existence for Amateur Collective is mental health support. So we start there, and we actually look at all the themes that come from there. So mental health can be, the issues with mental health can be created by financial situation, could be created by relationships at home, could be created by some of the gaps that education may not have bridged for you. And as a result, you're not able to be taught technically. So we deal with that first. So we actually run a site, a call center, that assists young people on the phone with mental health first. And then on the basis of your improvement as you grow, as you find yourself, as you gain in confidence, then we can look at how do we help you to achieve the goals you set yourself, whether it's to study further, to get a job, or to start your own business.
All right. Thank you so much, Debucho.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Deborah, for all the work that you're doing. Let's go now to Lala in Polokwane.
Hi.
Good morning, Feskazi, and good morning, Paul, and the rest of your guests. Feskazi, if you can remember, some 3 weeks ago, you received a call from a lady from Polokwane who was saying to you, I have studied. I did my degree. I also did my honors, but I cannot get my results, my certificate, because I am owing university about 135,000 rand. And she says I can get the job opportunities, but they need a certificate. I cannot get them. Let me ask if there are any some people who can be able to help me to release this. And I'm not sure if she managed to get any. But I'm saying we hear every day about the issue of Ubuntu, where it talks about treating other people with respect and dignity and give them those kind of human rights that they deserve. But when people are struggling like this, when they cannot access what they are supposed to access, and we don't see many of people coming out, many people from the communities coming out to assist them, like the way one day when I was talking to you, Cathy, and I said, I really don't understand why the former judge, the constitutional court judge, Ian Cameroon, decided to go and campaign to raise the money to pay for bail for those who are in jail, whereas we have so many young people outside who cannot access their results, or who cannot even print. Yesterday I was in surveying a satellite police station. I saw a young lady. She printed a lot of CVs that she wanted to certify there. But there is another lady or another child who cannot even print 2 pages just to go and submit in the nearest school. So how are we going to help this kind of a child? Because those are the sources of this mental health that we are talking about. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Lala. I think Tiamo can answer that if possible. Tiamo, are you still in the line?
Yes, can you just condense the question?
No, the listener Ulala was asking Uguti to the young person who have like qualifications, but they can't take them out from a university because of some finances. How do they go about?
Yes, so when I was a university student, that was a big question, and university students organized under the SRCs to try and create payment plans with their institutions, whereby a student would say, okay, once I get employed, I will pay this amount of money each month, and in exchange, they would be given a transcript but not a certificate.
But how... pardon me. Right. So with that, the person says, if they're looking for jobs and then the jobs say, I need the qualification, but yes, she has the qualification, but she can't take it out from the university because of the finances.
Yeah, so then on the second side of things, from the employer perspective, one thing we've done with our campaign is we've asked employers to not only require qualifications, but to also take transcripts. Because a transcript is proof that you've achieved the qualification, but it's not the qualification itself. So very briefly, as long as some employers accept transcripts, it's possible to negotiate with the university to get a transcript, and then you negotiate with the employer to accept transcripts instead of the actual qualification document. That has worked in some cases, yes.
All right. Thank you so much, Tiamo.
Okay. We're going to continue then with the contributions of our listeners. Mike, you're calling us from Cape Town. Good morning.
Hi, good morning, Cathy. Interesting show. Quick question to the panel. I think we can accept the fact that we need growth to create jobs. One of the heartbreaking things I think about our situation is public works, because we pay like 14 rand and once the guy an hour, and then once the guy's done 6 months or something, that's it. He's got nothing else to look forward to. And then we have but we have entrepreneurs that will pay 20 rand an hour to the same people, and they can offer a sustainable job because they will then export their product, and that's the only way we're going to grow in our country, is grow our exports. But unfortunately, the minimum wage is 26 rand. So we have a gentleman who's working for 14 rand. He's only got a 6-month job, unsustainable employment because somebody will take his position. I can offer him 20 or 22 rand. I'm just rounding off the figures, obviously, but the minimum wage is 26. Would the panel not agree that there must be some kind of middle way for an entrepreneur to start a business but not have to comply with the labor laws as they are? If you can get 20 people that are prepared to manufacture a product which I can make, and I know this is my area of expertise, I'm an entrepreneur of 35 years, but I can't do it initially at the original wage of 26. Would the panel not agree that this would be something we should look at? We could then export this product all over the world. We import, by the way, thousands of them into this country from China. So I'm suggesting that, guys, let's look at that as a potential way and make it easier. Oh, by the way, I did contact the union. I've been in touch with the government, and I worked on the seat. I was a volunteer for 8 years on the service seat in Johannesburg as a subject matter expert there. And I followed this up there, and I got absolutely no joy from the government and none from the unions. It's either all or nothing. You can get a 6-month dispensation, but if you know what it's like starting a small business, it's tough. It's not easy, and if it's on a minimum budget, you've got to look after your staff, pay them first, and then you've got all the equipment to pay for. You just simply don't have the money or the time to deal with all this legislation that is heaped upon you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mike. We're going to go to the news now. Are we going to the news?
We're almost going to the news. You have about 50 seconds to say goodbye to your guests that are on the line, and maybe just give your parting shot for this conversation at least.
Okay, so I just want to say thank you to our guest, Raymond Matlatla, Vanessa Gordon, and Tiamo Malachi. Thank you so much for joining this topic of unemployment and mental health issues in South Africa.
Wonderful, and really a well-curated conversation, one that speaks to the heart of the issue. You can hear that Mpho is not talking about this issue at an academic level. She's talking about what her and her peers are going through, and the need then for these experiences to find resonance at the G20. So yes, the G20 might not be an implementing partner, but it's about saying, how do the voices of people like Mpho find their way into the recommendations and the policy formulations that are going to be put forward, whether it's right up to the B20, right up to the president's desk. I think that's more the point that Mpho was raising. Okay, so now it's 11 o'clock.
Okay, so now it's 11 o'clock. It's time for the news.
Thank you, Mpho. Top stories at 11. Apex Court celebrates 30 years and the LGBTQ plus Pride March banned in Budapest. For SAFM News, I am Ondalambana, and a very good morning. Former Constitutional Court Justice Albie Sachs has described the Apex Court as a shining example of integrity, intelligence and humanity. Sachs was speaking ahead of an event being held today at the court in Johannesburg to celebrate 30 years since its establishment. In reflecting on the 3 decades of the court's work and judgments, Sachs says it intervened at times of exceptional importance for the country, making the example of the controversy around the provision of antiretrovirals in the early 2000s.
Women living with HIV about to give birth, and they can't get navaropine, and the doctors order it, it's being provided free, they want it, and government is sticking and saying, no, we have to get experience for 2 years. People come to court, and we say our constitution says everyone has the right of adequate health care. The government must take progressive measures to realise the right within available resources. It's a right, and it transformed South Africa. Our people were dying, thousands every day, and we created the biggest antiretroviral program in the world because of the constitution, because of the court.
President Cyril Ramaphosa will this morning deliver the keynote address at the 30th anniversary celebrations of the Constitutional Court. The chairperson of Walter Sisulu University Council, Advocate Tembeka Ngcukaitobi, has expressed shock and dismay following a fatal shooting of a senior official at the Walter Sisulu University in the Eastern Cape. The official was shot dead inside a stationary vehicle outside the institution's Nelson Mandela Drive campus in Mthatha last night. Police are investigating a case of murder, and the motive of the killing is unknown at this stage. Ngcukaitobi elaborates.
The council is deeply shocked and disturbed at what appears to be a brazen act of assassination. We send deep condolences to his family and extended family. We have escalated the incident to the law enforcement authorities. We are hopeful that we will act swiftly to apprehend the perpetrators and bring them to justice without delays.
Mourners are trickling in numbers to bid their farewell to slain Zodwa Mdluli, whose funeral service is underway at the Mtimba TVET College in Masoyi, Mpumalanga. Mdluli and her partner, Aseri Ndlovu, were found last month in Rustenburg on the border of Limpopo with Gauteng after they had gone missing in February. They were allegedly kidnapped and murdered. These are the words from some of the mourners.
To attend this funeral, it's painful, but also it gives closure to not only the family, but also to the community and the people that were concerned about her. It's painful that she had to miss for months since February until now it's June, which is a very, very painful thing. But it also helps the family to heal.
We grew up together. She was my neighbor, actually. We went to school together. Even now, I'm not really sure
why they did this to her and her boyfriend. I'm really shocked, actually. We're not feeling very well.
The Afri Farmers Association in the Northern Cape has called on action to be taken against the killing of farmers in the John Daulo Gaitiwe district in Kuruman. 2 farmers, Motibeng Motilenge and Khakhamatso Nonong, were shot and killed in Khanab village last weekend. 3 suspects have been arrested in connection with the incident. The association's president, Bule DCB.
Our hearts are broken for what happened at Khanab. They killed 2 farmers, and it's not for the first time. They killed Mr. Meleng at Kessel. It looks like we are not safe, we are not protected. What we need is justice for what happened in our area. As farmers, we are food producers. We need to be protected.
Police in Budapest have banned this year's LGBTQ+ community pride march, arguing it would be in breach of Hungarian law. But the mayor of Budapest has said the ban on marching is illegal and insisted it will go ahead anyway. The BBC's Nick Thorpe has more.
The holding of this year's Budapest Pride has been in doubt since Prime Minister Viktor Orban announced in February that it would not take place. His Fidesz party passed a law in March allowing for the right of assembly to be restricted if it falls foul of an earlier child protection law which forbids the public promotion of homosexuality. The Liberal mayor of Budapest, Gergely Karácsony, announced 3 days ago that Pride this year will take place under the protective wing of a Day of Freedom.
Recapping the top story, former Constitutional Court Justice Albie Sachs has described the Apex Court as a shining example of integrity, intelligence and humanity. I am Ondalambana for SAFM News, headlines at 11:30.
Specsavers Audiology, South Africa's largest audiology group, brings you the all-new Clarity Pro rechargeable hearing aids. Experience cutting-edge features at a price you can afford. For a limited time only, buy 1 Clarity Pro rechargeable hearing aid and get 50% off the second. You heard right, buy 1 and get 50% off the second. Visit specsavers.co.za to find your nearest store and ask for Clarity Pro today. Specsavers Audiology. Test your hearing and join the conversation. T's and C's apply.
If you think you cannot afford a lawyer, think again. Clientele Legal has made professional legal services affordable for you. Whether it's a civil, criminal, or labor-related matter, we have a nationwide panel of attorneys standing by to assist you. SMS SAFM to 32195. That's SAFM to 32195 and we'll call you back. Clientele General is a licensed non-life insurer and an authorized FSP. Standard rates and terms and conditions apply.
You know, ever since I adopted positive energy-saving behaviors, the National Grid is thanking me. You should also adopt this lifestyle and your pocket will thank you too. Simply switch off non-essential appliances and lights when they're not in use. Reduce your geyser temperature to 60 degrees Celsius. Replace inefficient lights with LED lights. These are some of the ways you can use electricity wisely to help sustain our energy grid and contribute to a greener planet. Just like every rand counts, every kilowatt counts. Let's use electricity wisely. Eskom.
The Rockets want to take full control of 90 minutes. Meanwhile, First Touch ladies want to transition quick with First Touch football. This is the Hollywood Bet Super League. Do not miss out on glittering action between TS Galaxy Queens and First Touch Ladies on Saturday 21 June at 3 p.m. Streaming live on SABC Plus and SABC Sport on DTT Channel 4. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport. For the love of the game.
Got a Standard Bank business account and self-service banking? You could win up to 5,000 Rand cash every day this week in the Standard Bank self-service quiz. SMS Standard Bank self-service to 45787 for a chance to be selected. Answer 2 easy questions about Standard Bank self-service banking to be a winner. Tune in every day this week on the Midday Link-Up to see if it's you. Standard Bank. It can be. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
The Talking Point with Cathy Mohlahlana. Weekdays, 9 a.m. till midday.
All right, you're listening to The Talking Point. We continue to lead conversations that move us. It's 8 after 11 o'clock on a Friday, so it means that very soon we're going to be putting our feet up and easing our way into the rest of the afternoon and also the weekend. But before we do that, Firstly, let me say congratulations to Mpho. You were just absolutely brilliant in how you facilitated that conversation. Well done.
Thank you, Cathy.
And I'm not the only one who thinks so. Cathy in Johannesburg says, hi, Mpho, you sound so confident, lovely, and good luck. One of our other listeners, where's that message? There we go. Vugani from eThekwini says, morning, Cathy. I wish I had a mentor like you when I started in the corporate sector. It's amazing how good you are at mentoring young Mpho. Thank you. She's doing a great job. You see, I told you you did well.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much for listening as well.
So tell us a little bit, Mpho, before we say goodbye to you, about what your own hopes, aspirations are. In terms of your career, what do you want to do? What do you want to be able to do in the next couple of years?
So, as I mentioned earlier, that I'm a content producer for a community radio station. So I'm hoping to be the best producer, not only for radio but for TV as well.
Wonderful.
And besides the media part, I also want to grow my business as well, because I have my own business.
What do you do?
I have a Flexiwear. I call it Flexiwear. It's a fitwear for ladies.
Okay.
So I like to go to the gym. So I was like, I can make money out of gym, not being a personal trainer, but just to look good at the gym when you're doing some weights. So I decided to have my own gym wear called Flexiwear.
Wonderful. Mpho, how can people follow you, get in touch with your journey? Because you do say that you are a content creator.
Yes, I am a content creator.
Also to buy some Flexi wear.
So on social media, I am Mpho Dingile, at Mpho Dingile on Instagram, at Mpho Dingile on TikTok, and at Mpho_Dingile on X, which is known as Twitter.
Mpho, thank you so much for coming on to the show today. It has been an absolute pleasure having you in studio with us, and we wish you all of the best with your journey. Stay close to us, stay close.
Yes.
I know opportunities are scarce now, but you see, Lebo and Kanya, one of these days you could be one of them. You really, really, I think, would be the right person for that kind of opportunity.
No, maybe soon they will listen again to me here at SASFM.
Absolutely.
They're like,
absolutely.
No, we remember her.
We remember where she started.
Yes,
we remember
so soon.
That's very true, Mpho. Remember, there's no permanence in these seats, right? It's a bit of a revolving door.
Yes.
So what you're saying is not impossible at all. And we would be glad to say that your journey started here with us at SAFM.
Thank you so much.
All right, Mpho. That's where we leave it with Mpho for today. Really, really great work that she has done. Somebody else has sent through a message. And he's also just recognizing the fact that you were able to do such a good job, even though you were nervous, and really just grateful for how you managed that conversation. Okay, on that note, we're going to take a quick break, and then it is the Friday wind down.
This week on Off Pitch Goals. After league and cup triumphs for Kaizer Chiefs, Orlando Pirates and Mamelodi Sundowns, George Maluleka, Lethono Majoro, and George Lebesi embark on a journey to conquer the glamorous world of cosmetics. Join us as we find out how they maneuver through this highly competitive industry. Streaming on SABC Plus and SABC Sport on DTT Channel 4 on Saturday, 21 June at 8:30 p.m. Off-Pitch Goals, where we showcase how the stars score in business. Brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
Honey, what are you doing?
I'm stretching for tonight.
I thought you're not dancing at bachelorette parties anymore.
Baby, we need the money to put Johnny through matriek mos.
And what's the police uniform for?
The clients feel safer when I wear it.
No, man, just sell your bucky to We Buy Cars. They give the best prices and they pay you within minutes.
Okay, but can I just go and dance one more time, please? You know how much I love it.
No, the buyer's already on his way here.
Wow, okay.
Strapped for cash? Just sell your vehicle to We Buy Cars. The easiest way to sell your car by far.
The Rockets want to take full control of 90 minutes. Meanwhile, First Touch ladies want to transition quick with First Touch football. This is the Hollywood Bet Super League. Do not miss out on glittering action between TS Galaxy Queens and First Touch Ladies on Saturday 21 June at 3 p.m. Streaming live on SABC Plus and SABC Sport on DTT Channel 4. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport. For the love of the game.
It's that time of year. The annual Drakensberg Boys Choir Music in the City is upon us. Classic choral works, African rhythms, and foot-stumping Afropop at the Joburg Theatre. 18 to 21 June. Book now on bbchoir.com. See you there.
The Friday Wind Down. Kick off your weekend the right way.
Msisi wenhliziyo zethu shalom uhamba nathi shalom usinakekela bueno hamba nathi shalom khona shalom khona shalom khona hamba nathi osa babin shitio oh no hamba nathi osa bangasasha babin shitio ditsio situ ngawe sanana iphuthalethu indalo yakho ubuhle bethu bushawa indiva oh hamba nathi hamba nathi hamba nathi
Brenda Mtambo bantu. We, I love that woman. I love that artist. Voice yakhe iyangilimaza. Makathi nje, I love you and I told you and I showed you many times ago. I love Brenda, please, please, please. I love you so much. I love you so much.
Cathy Mohlahlana, it's Mtwinte, and please make sure that Uprenda Mtambo doesn't leave the studio without singing Thina Sizwe Sikhalela. You know, like the first time I hear that song, like I just fell in love with Brenda Mtambo's music. I just fell in love with her music. And every time when it's either she's posting or anything, I just love it. I just love her music. I just love her craft. Like Tina Sizwe, or the other one say Chela ungo wami, Chela uyangthanda, Chela unzo. Oprenda Mtambo, Cathy, she's the legend. She's the best. Please make sure that she does sing those two for me. Please have a good one. Do in Durban. The whole hour, I'll be listening to SAFM. I love that woman. Yeah.
Yo, Meshashech, thanks so much for inviting Uprenda Mtambo. Yazi lo sisi, I admire her kakhulu. Every time she sings, you just cannot ignore. You just want to listen to her from first song up to the last. She's very, very gifted. Oh, thanks so much, man. Zonke ingoma zakhe zimandi, Brenda. God bless you, siswa. Ungatshintshi futhi uhlale. Stay humble as you are. Never change. Thank you.
Brenda, you haven't even come onto the radio, and the voice notes have already started flooding in. A very good morning to you. Welcome back home, because you know this is your second home. Such a pleasure to have you with us again.
Thank you so much for having me again, Cathy. Thank you so much. Hello to the listeners. Oh, the voice notes are so heartwarming. I'm already blowing kisses. It's so great to be back. So great to be back.
Look, you've been up to so much since the last time we spoke to you. It would have been just as we were coming out of COVID, and you know, you were speaking to us about the experience that you had struggling with mental illness, and looking at your latest offering, of course. You seem to be in a very different space. You're looking good. You've been out and about. You have shows. I think every week, Brenda, you're on a stage somewhere doing something. It seems to be a very different season for you.
It is a very different season for me. I really think that taking the time away to deal with everything that I was dealing with and not shying away from talking about it, I've been able to receive so much help, and I am in such a great space.
So you're currently out in Durban, and you know, we just played Hamba Nathi. What an incredible song you've put together there. Of course, our listeners, you know, they're talking about the classics, and no, it's not jukebox hour with Brenda, so she can't be singing. Or karaoke hour.
All of them.
Exactly, or karaoke hour with Brenda. She can't be singing all of them, even though we do love to hear all of them. But you've been producing new music, Deborah, and Brenda, and it's been really incredible again to hear the evolution, to hear the journey. Speak to us about where your mindset was at with this latest offering.
Oh my goodness, the latest offering, which is Sane, it feels like it's an old offering actually now, because it's 2.5 years down, I think. It was my space of healing my anxiety and actually depression and every heartache that I was in. So I then penned those prayers into songs. Hamba Nighty, the one that you just played now, is one of the people's favorite song that they like to play. They consider it as a prayer, and it was actually one of my prayers too. That I'm inviting God, angels, everything that you believe in, whatever it is, that please be with us and don't leave us in this journey of life.
Thank you so much for that, Brenda. And in fact, thank you also for that correction. Because what I've gotten a bit confused about is I thought that you were releasing a new album called The Revival, but I understand that it's actually your live show that is called The Revival.
It is my live show called The Revival. That is happening at the Soweto Theatre in Johannesburg. That is happening on the 27th of June, which is next week Friday. So yeah, it's not a new album. It is a revival, the concert.
So when it comes to actually preparing for the concert and deciding to take it to audiences in Soweto, why?
You know, I think I'm one artist that is made by the people on the ground. I've got people who really, really been following my gift and my work for many years. And the attempt to take it to Soweto was something that I've been working on for some time with my team. And when Joburg Theatre and Soweto Theatre came on board, it felt like a natural progression for me to do that show in Soweto, and I feel like it's going to be an amazing space of revival, because as you've mentioned earlier, that I've been going through quite a difficult time, and it made sense, now that I'm feeling revived, as you said, I'm in a better space, that I go back to the people and they see me doing well emotionally, spiritually, and otherwise, and also bringing that energy to everyone else around me and in that auditorium that day.
Preparing for a show like that taking place in a theatre, is it any different to what you would be doing on any other stage? And I wonder, if it requires different things of you as an artist.
With theatre setups, I love it so much. It's very intimate. I'm all for intimate connections. So it's very intimate. Also, I feel like people get to really see a production side of my creativity, because we don't just put on a show. We make sure that everything is aligning. Everything aligns. The lighting, the staging, how we design the stage, the costume, everything has to align when we're doing the show in a theater setup, as opposed to when we do it outside. If it's a festival outside, it's a complete different setup.
Wow, it sounds like quite a journey. So that show then taking place on the 27th of June, which is going to be next week. Our Friday wind down guest is Brenda Mtambo. We're still talking about her album Sane and the offering from that, but of course also looking ahead to the show that she's been putting together, and is hoping that as many South Africans as possible are going to come out and support that work. We'll continue this conversation shortly. It's now 11:30, time for your latest news headlines.
Thank you, Cathy. On the news headlines, the Association of Meat Importers and Exporters of the Southern Africa has praised the government's decision to partially lift a ban on chicken imports from Brazil. Former Constitutional Court Justice L.B. Sachs has described the Apex Court as a shining example of integrity, intelligence and humanity. And Iran and Israel have traded airstrikes overnight with attacks in the south of the Israel and Tehran. Israel's central rail station is reportedly shut down temporarily due to damage. A full update follows at the top of the hour.
Every murder has a moment. when it could have been stopped. Countdown to Murder takes you inside the chilling timeline from ordinary days to unthinkable crimes. Real stories, real people, and the final hours before everything fell apart. Countdown to Murder. Every second tells a story. Thursdays at 9 p.m. only on S3. Open up.
It's a tough day for Mark. Tight deadlines and challenges everywhere. But Mark can rest easy because when he bought his Hino 700 2845 truck tractor, he received a complimentary service plan covering up to 210,000 kilometers for short haul and up to 280,000 kilometers for long haul. Nice one, Mark. Visit your dealer today to find out more about this limited time offer. Hino, all the way. T's and C's apply.
I'm Michelle Constant. Join the JSB crew and I every Saturday and Sunday morning between 7 and 10 a.m. We promise to keep you informed and entertained with innovation, culture, cars, travel, life learnings, environment, and of course, your big fat juicy. Small stories, big ideas, massive inspiration. The Jet Set Breakfast on SAFM.
Celebrating our music heritage right here on the Friday Wind Down.
Mama, oh,
awusuka madoda mamtambo sizobusezweni mamtambo sizobusezweni sizobusezweni awusuka madoda awu hayi siyabonga ntokazi siyabonga.
I love you are the words I wanna hear every day. You're mine, na na na, na na na. Say I love you, and I told you, and I showed you many times ago. Yeah, this is Tebo from Magatinzevitela. I really love this song. Sisi Cathy, ke gopela o botše se se Brenda gore Khanyo Maphumulo ne. She have a song called Yayintle Insizwa. I used to hear it on 12 FM on Thursdays on Mike's show. Yeah, the book reading show, right? So, but the show is called Chakabukung. So, but I've been searching for that song. Could you kindly tell Sisi Brenda to tell Sisi Khanyo Maphumulo gore I uploaded that song on streams, on musical streams, so that we can actually stream it. I love that song. Yayintle Insizwa. Please, Sissy Brenda, please tell Sissy Khanyo to upload that song on Spotify or wherever, YouTube, so that we can actually be blessed again by that melodic, beautiful song. Anyway, I love you, Sissy Brenda, and please keep on producing lovely songs. I love you so much. You're my favorite artist. Thank you.
Sis Cathy, nice music from Brenda. I'm Pumelelo from Komati Port. I would like to check whether CDs can be available. I'm one of the people who are still hooked on CDs. Thank you.
CDs. It's 2025. You want to find a CD. Good luck to you. Good luck to you, my brother. Brenda?
Yes.
Do you still make CDs? Do you produce your music in CD format?
No, we don't produce music on CDs anymore, but it doesn't mean that there's no exception for anyone who wants a hard copy. I've been able to keep some hard copies of my music. So if you come into my show, for instance, I am going to have some hard copies that I've kept from my previous albums.
Well, that's fantastic and a great motivating factor, by the way, for people to also come and watch the show, because that's one of the few places where they'll be able to get their hands on it. When putting together sort of what the song lineup needs to look like for a production, you can hear people like so many of your songs, Brenda. How do you decide what you put in there?
Honestly, it all depends on the message for that particular concert that I'm putting together. With this one, it's a revival. As I said, I want to make people feel revived. I want people to feel like something they've shedded some load out of their system because they came to the show. So it's gonna be filled with a lot of inspirational music. Busezweni, I heard someone sing Busezweni, for instance. It's definitely there on the music. Songs like I Love You, because that is my love letter to all my supporters. It's definitely gonna be them. Shabawetu, because I'm always for the people. I want to bring that awareness of who we are and just not forgetting that. So I always have that. It depends honestly on the time that we have to put together a show and the time that is allocated to us, but more so just the message altogether of what I've been feeling in my heart that I want to share with my people. And this time around, we're going to have some revival. It's going to be something that makes you cry sometimes, or you want to be excited about it, or you just feel like, you know what, my dreams are valid. I can do absolutely anything that I put my mind into.
Brenda, it sounds like you're going to be taking us to church.
Church, listen, church has saved me, and I'm not going to shy away from that. And I feel like, in our country, our people do need that. They need something that can, cultivate their souls. And why not do it if God has given me that gift to do such? And with me, I don't discriminate. I bring everyone, whether you go to church or you don't go to church, you won't feel left out, but you will also feel so revived.
Oh, wonderful. Now, I'm also excited about this show. I might just have to make my way to Soweto to come and see it.
Kathy.
Now, I'm tempted. You've said enough. I am buying in. I'm buying in as well. Brenda, we wish you all of the best. Thank you so much for always checking in with us and keeping us and the listeners up to date in terms of what you're up to. Maybe just a parting shot from you before we say goodbye.
Thank you so much for the support that everybody has shown me over the years. I truly, truly am grateful. And and everyone has shown me so much love. When I was down and out, it was the people who lifted me, in hope and in love. And I think this is my chance to do the same to them. Thank you so much. And if you're going through a hard time, just hang in there. It's not going to be that bad for that long. So everything's going to be okay. I believe in change. Thank you so much.
This week on Off-Pitch Goals. After league and cup triumphs for Kaizer Chiefs, Orlando Pirates and Mamelodi Sundowns, George Mohlahlana, Lesonolo Majoro and George Lebesi embark on a journey to conquer the glamorous world of cosmetics. Join us as we find out how they maneuver through this highly competitive industry. Streaming on SABC Plus and SABC Sport on DTT Channel 4 on Saturday, 21 June at 8:30 p.m. Off-Pitch Goals, where we showcase how the stars score in business. Brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
Tension and drama will go above the rooftop as the believers want to play in the Big Boys League, while the citizens say they are used to life in Mzansi's elite league. This is the PSL Promotional Playoffs. Catch Cashwick Stars versus Cape Town City this Saturday, 21 June at 2:30 p.m. Streaming live on SABC Plus and SABC 1. Also available at 3 p.m. on SABC radio stations. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
This Youth Month, SAFM celebrates the spirit, power, and potential of young South Africans. Join us as we dive into conversations that matter, from innovation to education and skills for the changing world, empowering youth for meaningful economic participation. Because at SAFM, we're not just talking, we're leading the conversations that move us. Anna on SAFM.
All right, welcome to the show as we continue this hour. This series is proudly brought to you by Nedbank Insurance. Over the next 6 weeks, we'll be talking about the Money Matters campaign and how Nedbank Insurance can help you find relevant insurance solutions for every stage of life. To tell us more about the Money Matters campaign, we're joined by Walter Marta, who is Managing Executive at Nedbank Insurance. Walter, good morning to you. Thank you so much for coming into studio.
Good morning, Cathy. So great to be here.
So the Money Matters campaign is clearly quite an important one for you as an organization. Tell us why, and especially being in the month of June.
Yes, Cathy, and Nedbank Insurance supports Money Matters conversations because people don't talk enough about money within their families. So talking about money may be very uncomfortable for a lot of us, but very, very necessary. We see these conversations as an opportunity to engage about all things money, but especially on how we ensure you have a plan to cover all of those unexpected losses in your life. What we all know today as insurance. So why the month of June? Well, it's Youth Month here at home, isn't it? So it's only right that we kick off this new season of Money Matters, which is brought to you by Nedbank Insurance, with young people front and center, because it's never too early to start making smart money moves. It's also International Insurance Awareness Month, actually, in June. I'm sure a lot of people didn't know that. So it's a time to review your insurance policies, your cover needs, and make informed decisions to safeguard assets and your well-being. So whether you're a young professional who's just starting out, or you're a parent who is thinking about your child's future, this is the right moment to ask, are you building the kind of financial resilience that lasts? Insurance is often seen as something to think about later, but the truth really is you need to start very early. That'll give you more options, more security, and freedom to create for yourself and your family. So Money Matters is about putting back power into the hands of ordinary South Africans by making financial education, or in this specific instance, insurance, more transparent, more accessible, more practical, and more engaging. So it's all about building trust and credibility.
I wonder if, what the experience that you're having as an institution is when it comes to, in particular, young people. We know young people engage in very different ways to generations before them. So I'm talking here Gen Z and below, right? And I wonder what you have found to be the kind of way in which they're engaging with financial institutions like yourself, and even some of the financial products that you're offering.
Yes, they seem to be on different mediums, speaking in different languages, using abbreviations that people,
nobody understands.
Well, I don't want to give away your age, but I definitely don't understand, and we definitely need to engage with them on those platforms using those languages. So, in an industry like insurance, where we use this very complicated language, we need to change and offer. Use language which is, I wouldn't use plain language, let's call it youth plain language.
And there's also, of course, new players that are entering the market every day. This, unfortunately, has led to a level of distrust in financial institutions and service providers and the products that they offer. How is Nedbank hoping to build that credibility and build that trust?
Yeah, it's a great question, Cathy. In actual fact, I think recently there was a study or a survey done by the Financial Services Conduct Authority in South Africa, which actually showed high levels of trust in banks, because the youth actually believe that the banks won't steal their money. Whereas conversely, actually for mobile money providers or cash loans or insurance providers, there's a very low level of trust actually. And that really as a result is because people don't really believe that the insurance provider will pay claims. The research also actually indicated a total misalignment in the understanding of what is covered. And I think we can all relate to this. At the time that you put your claim in, is it actually included or excluded in your insurance policy? So to address this mistrust in service providers, our campaign actually focuses on debunking those insurance myths and providing transparent information, and so that our clients or potential clients can actually understand our products that we can provide. And I think we really do need to emphasize the trustworthiness of who we stand for as Nedbank Insurance. And we need to back this up with a track record of paying valid claims promptly. So, and I think also we need to also make sure that we inform our clients as to what solutions they do have and are they appropriate to what they cover. So our plan really is, and that's why we're here, is to try and leverage social media, because that's often where the youth is, as we spoke earlier. Also, community radio stations where people don't have access to that. So we can reach a much younger generation, because it's important to educate them, because it is important to start early.
In fact, talking then about starting early, of course, every stage of one's life has different requirements. How you insure a 21-year-old who's just fresh coming out of varsity is very different to how you insure perhaps somebody who's running an entire household, who's got dependents, etc. So maybe speak to us about some of those products that you offer and that you would recommend.
Yes, I think one really needs to start about what would you like to protect that is very dear to you. Whether that is you're worried that if you have a child, something happens to you, or potentially you have income and you might not be able to protect that. So I think the insurance solutions are designed to make sure that that unexpected event that happens that might result in a significant personal loss to you is actually protected. So if you think about it, one can take out life cover to protect one's family in the case something happened to them, or what you could do, you could take up an income protection plan, which could protect you in case you're unable to work. And if you're unable to afford very expensive life insurance cover, one could take out a funeral cover, which pays pretty quickly a cash payout to those in need.
And we know that with the high cost of living, often what goes off the list when people are heart-stretched is things like insurance, because they think, well, actually, I can do without it for now. I've got more pressing needs. How do you mitigate against that as an insurance provider? And I wonder, what are some of the conversations that you also have with your clients?
It's a really topical item at the moment, because it's a really tough environment, and to make those tough, South Africans are making really tough choices today to try and prioritize what to spend on and what not to, and it really is a big concern for South Africans. I think the way I look at it is, if you can only afford one type of insurance, the most important thing is to start with is what you and your family can't afford to lose. And then you ask yourself this question, is if something happened to me tomorrow, okay, what would the financial impact of that be? Okay, so would my family be okay? Would they be able to manage without me? Would I be able to earn an income, as I said earlier? And if that's critical, then the next step is you decide what cover would suit me. So if my family can't survive without me, then I take out life cover. If I'm worried that I can't earn an income, I take out income protection. If it's not about actually covering everything, it's about starting really, really small and covering that most important personal item that you could lose that could make a huge impact on your life or your family's life. So don't start big, start small, and maybe in the future your personal circumstances change and you can up it.
You know, one of the questions that I've noticed we get more and more from our listeners is, Cathy, is there insurance that I can take up that will be able to provide some kind of insurance for me or some kind of income for me when I'm unemployed? Because even people that are unemployed, I think, are sitting with this fear of being unemployed. And unfortunately, some of the solutions, such as the UIF, haven't really left, the best of options on the table for many people, just because of the difficulties and efficiencies with that particular institution. So I wonder, as insurance providers, because these are the real challenges that people are really going through, how is it that you are contending with these as you develop your products?
So I think what's really important we need to understand is insurance is really just a mitigation of risk. So what insurance companies try and do is they try and pool the risk across a portfolio, and then if an event happens for one individual, they're able to protect them. So an insurable event, such as not being employed, means one needs to be employed first, and then you can protect. There are other means to be able to protect something that could happen to you that you're not employed, but maybe non-income protection. So, and this is part of us debunking these myths, is what is insurance? It is not the maintenance of an asset. It is the protection of something happening to that destructed as a result of an insurable event. Or I have something that is valuable to me and I lose it. So your income might be valuable to you. Or I am valuable to my family and something might happen to me. And that loss is really important to protect.
How often should we be reassessing our insurance products, and what is it that we can do when we want to kickstart that process?
I would recommend that you reassess your insurance at least annually. Your life changes, as well as it's your ability to shop around to see whether there are better insurance solutions out there. But importantly, our lives move pretty quickly nowadays. We get old pretty quickly. We have children. Our jobs change. Our financial circumstances change. So I would reckon at least annually.
I've got a question here from Jenny, and it's an important question. She says, can you ask your guest, if insurers are so transparent about what's covered, why do they hide the exclusions in huge walls of tiny text on the last page? Jenny's out in Cape Town. And it talks to what you were saying earlier, Walter, about people really fully understanding what it is that they're covered for and what they're not covered for.
I think Jenny has a fantastic point, and we need to change the way we operate and debunk the myth. What is insurance about? We mustn't hide the exclusions on the last page in font 8. We must actually put the exclusions right up front. And as I said earlier, I think the way policies are written, they need to be not written by lawyers. They need to be written by people who actually understand them. So I encourage you actually to go onto the Nedbank Insurance website and have a look at some of our policies and then challenge us on those font 8 exclusions.
So it's not legalese and it's not on the last page?
No, it's not.
Oh, wonderful. Great to hear that. Walter, anything you want to add before we wrap it up?
I think maybe one thing I'd just like to add is a little bit around financial resilience, if that's okay. I think financial resilience is not built overnight, but it's really something that you do by making smart decisions every day to build a foundation so that you effectively have a more secure tomorrow. So I think if you're just starting out or you're reassessing your insurance needs, don't look at insurance like a policy, because it's actually about protecting your future, your family, and your peace of mind. So let's keep the conversation going about talking about these things so that we can effectively ask the tough questions and create some level of transparency between us. And more importantly, let's keep building trust.
Walter, we'll leave it there for this morning. Walter Marta is the Managing Executive at Nedbank Insurance, and this conversation has been brought to you by Nedbank Insurance. It's part of a series that will be running over the next 6 weeks. On that note, that's where we wrap it up on The Talking Point. The show back with you again on Monday between 9 and midday. Have yourselves a lovely weekend.
12 o'clock on Friday, the 20th of June 2025. A very warm welcome to Updated Noon here on SAFM. Leading the conversation, I'm Sakina Kamwendo. Coming up in the next hour,
we celebrate the existence of this court over the 30 years in which it has defended our democracy and its democratic vision as set out in our birth certificate, our constitution.
President Cyril Ramaphosa has paid tribute to the Apex Court as it celebrates 30 years of existence, and
the council is deeply shocked and disturbed at what appears to be a brazen act of assassination.
Another murder has rocked the Walter Sisulu University as the Deputy Vice Chancellor was shot execution style. Coming up in sport,
big upsets at the Club World Cup. Can Sundowns also do an upset? And the Proteas women in action against the West Indies later today.
That's John Kerricker. Those details in the second half of the show. In the meantime, we want to hear from you. Please let us know what's on your mind. 41391, that's our SMS line number. You can also write to us via X at SABC News_radio, or you can send us a WhatsApp voice note on 082-692-3909. Well, these and more stories coming up on this Friday edition of Updated Noon. First, though, here's your latest news with Ondela Mbana.
Thank you, Sakina. On the top stories, Chief Justice Maya outlines monumental judgments by the Apex Court, and the fifth group of SANDF soldiers arrive in the country. For SAFM News, I am Ondela Mbana, and a very good day.
In my view, it would have to be its
President Cyril Ramaphosa has delivered the keynote address at an event held at the Constitutional Court, celebrating 30 years of the court being in operation. Earlier, in an interview with the SABC, Chief Justice Mandisa Maya lauded the work of the court. Maya outlined some of the most monumental judgments delivered by the court.
First judgment, State versus Mokonyane, which entrenched the right to life by declaring the death penalty unconstitutional and striking it down. There is nothing more precious than life, and that judgment actually set the tone for the work of the court and the approaches it was going to assume, going forward in carrying out its constitutional duty.
The fifth group of soldiers returning from SADC mission in the DRC has arrived in the country. 258 soldiers landed at Bram Fisher International Airport in Bloemfontein around 7 this morning. They will be briefed at Tempe Military Base and will commence with their demobilization process, which includes health screenings, psychological support and reunification services. The group was expected to arrive yesterday, but due to some delays in Tanzania, they only departed at 3 a.m. The sixth group is expected to come back home on Saturday. The Association of Meat Importers and Exporters of Southern Africa has praised government's decision to partially lift a ban on chicken imports from Brazil. This follows warnings of a looming food security crisis, especially for low-income households reliant on affordable processed meat products. The move excludes poultry from the avian flu-hit state of Rio Grande, but allows imports from all other Brazilian states to resume from today. CEO of the association, Imameleng Mutebe.
Despite the uplifting of the ban, we cannot trade at this point with Brazil because there are some documents that the South African government still has to complete and hand over to Brazil to allow the Brazilian veterinary services to approve products for export to South Africa. And the government has assured us that they are working on the document, and at this point we're just urging the agility that we saw in trying to resume exports from Brazil to apply again in this instance to make sure that we can quickly and swiftly move to having the product being imported from Brazil to South Africa.
Gauteng Education MEC Matombe Chilwane has called for discipline among learners following the fatal stabbing of a pupil from Lesedi Secondary School in Litabong, east of Pretoria. A grade 11 learner was killed by a fellow grade 12 pupil just outside the school premises after school on Tuesday. Chilwane visited the school to address learners, offering support and words of encouragement in the wake of the tragedy. 2 pupils have since been arrested children are expected to appear in the Bronkhorstspruit Magistrate Court today. Phumzile Mlangeni reports.
The alleged perpetrator was absent from school on the day of the incident, but arrived after school and allegedly stabbed the victim near the school gate. The victim died upon arrival at the nearest health facility. MEC Chilwane has urged learners to refrain from violence and to report bullying. 9 years ago, 2 boys were suspended for allegedly raping 3 girls at the nearby Kutumela Molefe Primary School. Chilwane will also be visiting the victim's family. Phumzile Mlangeni, SABC News, Pretoria.
Iran and Israel have traded airstrikes overnight with attacks in the south of Israel and Tehran. Israel's central rail station is reportedly shut down temporarily due to damage. The Israeli military says it attacked a short while ago 3 missile platforms ready to be launched from Iran to Israel. It said it also struck the military commander who was preparing to launch them without providing more details. The BBC's Dan Johnson has the details.
It was a much quieter night in the skies across Israel, with just one major strike reported in the south of the country early this morning, close to the hospital that was hit yesterday. It looks as if Iran again targeted a nearby technology park. Fires have been reported close to the Microsoft offices in Beersheba. Some homes have been damaged and 5 people are reported injured. Israel's military carried out further airstrikes overnight, targeting the Iranian capital and the headquarters of the country's nuclear research organization. Iran's worst ever internet blackouts continued into a third day, making it difficult for people to communicate or share details of conditions on the ground.
Recapping the top story, President Cyril Ramaphosa has delivered the keynote address at an event held at the Constitutional Court, celebrating 30 years of the court being in operation. I am Ondelambana for SFM News Headlines at 12:30.
Update at noon with Sakina Kamwendo, midday to 1 p.m.